So a couple weeks ago I did that review of the Cooper Reactor series and it went pretty well. Got a lot of comments, a lot of feedback, some good conversations with folks. So I figured I'd keep going with these, and I'm going to step it back one model lineup, and this is going to be a review of the Cooper Legends series. Pretty special. We're going to include talking about the 3-pocket catch glove. Okay, so taking a step backwards from the last video, we're going to move to the 1991 to 1993 model line of the Cooper Legends. When it was introduced, and throughout the 3 years, the lineup only consisted of the goal pad, the stick glove, the catch glove, and the upper body protection, the chest protector. In 1991, it was introduced and it became the top model, Super Pro. However, at the time they kept the GP95 pads, and those were also marked as a Super Pro model. The GP2000 was the Pro Light. And then in 92 and 93, the Legend stayed as the Super Pro, and the GP3000 became the Senior Pro. The 95 was discontinued at that time, and the GP58, believe it or not, was the Senior pad. In 94, then the Legend disappeared, and the reactors kicked in for the last 2 years. So for this video, we'll start with the leg pads. I have 2 sets, and I have experience with a 3rd set. So I'll start out with this set here. This is probably what I'm going to guess as a late model 1991 version. One thing that's going to come to light while I discuss this stuff is this Legends line had a lot of variations to it compared to how it was marketed. There were features that don't show up in catalogs from one year to another or backwards that seem to exist on some of the pads. So we'll talk about this one first. It's an earlier model because of the graphics. So on the first year they did Cooper on the middle knee roll and Legends logo on the lower knee roll, and the model name GP-LGD was over here on the outside vertical shin roll. The pad is made of Cordura and Durasoft. They are a foam stuffed pad. There's no deer hair in this pad. And again, kind of following on that last video I did, they're actually marketed as 12% less rebound than other foam pads on the market at the time. I don't know how they calculate that, but it just goes to show they, again, were designed to kill a puck. So you could play the puck out or cover it up. Still considered a stand-up pad. One of the differences from cataloging is the internal knee pocket here. On the 91s, they called this a knee cushion, but in the catalog it shows it as a much bulkier little flap on each side than my particular set has. The 92, 93 models had this thinner style like this, and so that's what makes me believe this might be like a late model 91 where they started making some changes to get it ready for the next model line. The pad has all leather straps. You still have a toe buckle, not lace, and they have a feature that they, I think, trademarked called Sawcut Knee Flex Panel. There's the flex again. Only one X in the word this time. So what that is the foam section in the knee is kind of pre-cut to allow the knee area to bend easier right out of the box instead of having as much break-in time. That's the gist of the first model. So then we'll move on to this set here. This is primarily the 1993 model. However, these are customs. There are some differences to this that didn't exist in the model line at the time. Second generation and third generation, 92 and 93, The Cooper logo was dropped, and we just have Legends on the center knee roll. The model number is not here anymore, it's down here on the boot outside roll. The 92 had a smaller font for the GPLGD, 93 had a larger font here. So that's what kind of leads me to this being the 93 model customized. You still have the saw cut panel for flexibility. Still have leather straps, still have leather toe strap, still have the deep leg channel, and you still have the hollow boot channel there so it rests over and around your boot. One thing about this being a custom is it actually has a knee pad, knee protection with the elastic and Velcro strap. This also has the mounting flap for a thigh board, which they didn't even offer in the Legends models. However, that's the same piece they used on the reactors, which followed this. Potentially, they'd already developed that style of adjustable, removable thigh board, and it would work on this pad without a problem. You have both pairs have the calf and knee flap, and you do have plastics down here to protect the ankle and your calf. So another thing about this is that this is still an era where even though CanStar owns Cooper at the time, Cooper in the design and manufacturer end of it are still getting to operate like they always had in the manufacturing, the custom pads and the higher end pads anyway. When a pad got to the point of assembly, one person assembled the entire pad, and back then Cooper did a stamp with the pad maker's name, and they put it on any pad that went through that process. It's pretty cool, part of the history. I've got probably in my collection 5 or 6 different names, some duplicates. I have some pads that were made by the same person in different, model lines. It's just another part of the history of the way things used to be. So that's pretty much it about the pads. Next, we're going to move on to the blocker. Now, the blocker had 3 variations from 91 to 93. Essentially, it's the same blocker, though. It's pretty much just graphical changes, and this part pains me. For the longest time, I didn't have a first variation, which was actually, even though it had the model number GMLGD, it was marketed as the Wedge. I finally got one, and I actually got a matched set of gloves. The problem is they had a terrible smell to them, very, very moldy, mildewy smell, and my normal way of soaking and washing them caused a lot of damage to this one. So it is going to be, it's currently disassembled. It's going to be sent out for refurbish, and basically all of the white Durasoft needs to be replaced on this blocker. Basically what happened is there were cracks in it that apparently absorbed water and got flaky and dry, I guess is how to explain it. If I just scratched my fingers across there, you'd see graphics just come right off of it. This one does have a replacement palm on it, so I can't talk about that yet, but the palm didn't change throughout, so I can point out some things about that on the next. But cool, because this is a part, I can show you that this is the foam block on the inside. Again, kind of like with the reactor review, this is like a injection molded foam, and inside of here is the plastic board, and it is pre-shaped, and maybe we can get a good look of the concave shape to the face of it for rebound control again. So that's the first version, that's the Cooper Wedge. Then we move to, so this is the 1992 version. This is complete. One thing about these, just like in the reactor video I said, they have these little cushion pads, sweat pads, whatever they are. Those need to be thrown away. The foam inside of them turned to powder over the years. It does have a concave face. You can see now it's marketed as a Legends blocker, and it is the GM LGD. The palm has Lycra gussets on the fingers, which allows some better movability with your hand as well as breathability. You get ventilation through there. Center of the palm has a Rub-A-Tex pad inside of it for more comfort when you're gripping the stick. You have an outside index finger protection here on the corner that starts right about here and wraps around. And you do have the front finger protections. One-piece molded thumb, and the beginning of the design similar to the flex cuff on the Reactor. Adjustable strap with Velcro. It can be reached from inside of here. It can be just cinched up and tightened. So that's the 1992 version. Get ready for it. This is the 1993 version. Identical except for inverted graphics. So you can see, if I hold them the same way, they're basically just opposite color scheme. Other than that, there are no changes to the way the glove is built or functions. Everything about it is the same. So there's the blockers. Now we're going to talk about the probably most unique piece of goalie gear to come out of the 90s. This is the Cooper Legends GM LGDC catch glove, featuring a side trap pocket and a cuff pocket. The granddaddies of all cheaters. Uniquely, even though the gear lineup went from 91 to 93, in 93 there is no Legend catch glove. And I think I have a theory to that, and I'll discuss that in just a minute. Starting with this, there were two minor differences from 91 to 92. I can't tell you what this glove is or what my other glove is because they contain features from both years. Starting off with, in 1991, this little foam pad didn't exist. In 92, they added this little foam pad here where the cheater comes back to the cuff. However, in 92, it didn't say Cooper here, it said Legends here. I've seen those gloves with the Legends logo, so I know they exist. Both of my gloves have minor variations. The other glove, I'll explain why I can't be 100% sure on why maybe one of those differences exists. Overall, the glove has large padded backhand. It has the fast lock pinky adjustment, individual finger stalls, Velcro adjustment behind the backhand, which adjusts the thumb, and then also a leather and metal buckle strap for your wrist tightness. Probably the most asked question about the glove is, do you think they really thought that would catch a puck? I can tell you from my experience, I've never caught a puck in it. I've worn these gloves many times. I've tried to catch a puck in those pockets, and I can't. I have had pucks hit here. I have a tendency of causing pucks to come and ricochet off, and it has hit here and fallen out instead of going through me. Ultimately, though, it was marketed as this. A unique side trap allows dramatic expansion of usable catching surface. So, in their marketing, they say that's catching surface. They go on to discuss this trap. This feature eliminates errant rebounds off the cuff and allows the goalie to more effectively cover the space between the body and the arm. And so I'm guessing that's the intent of filling this gap. If a puck's coming in, you've got this extra piece sticking out here, and that's going to help cover the area in between. And like I said, I've actually experienced that. I haven't ever caught anything here. I've tried to catch in here. I've tried putting a puck in there, throwing it up in the air pretty high and try to catch it in there, and I can't do it. One-piece thumb. It has a huge pocket and a single T. So we'll move on to my other one. Now, my blue and white, it does not have the little pad here on the side trap. It does have the Cooper logo here on the cuff, which makes me believe that this is unknown because it doesn't match the catalogs. However, the little piece of missing pad might be just a fluke. When I got this glove, it looked like someone had tried to relace this section here, including the cheater pocket and the cuff. Honestly, it looked like at some point in the process they got frustrated and gave up. And so this lace was like wrapped back and forth terribly. It was just a mess and it wasn't accomplishing anything. So I took that all apart. I'm guessing that little pad, when the person tried to do it, that pad got removed and it just never made its way to me when I bought the glove. One thing that happens a lot on these is this upper part of the cuff on a lot of the gloves, the seam would rip and guys would hockey tape that seam. I've taken it apart and re-sewn it. I really like these gloves. They're not as heavy as everybody thinks. If I can find where I've weighed these and look it up, I'll put that in here somewhere and maybe even give you a comparison to another glove. Now we add to the mystique of the Legends catch glove. Even though the model line existed from 91 to 93, the 3-pocket glove only existed in 91 and 92 catalog, and in 93 there was no Legends catch glove. There was the blocker, there was the body protection, and there was the pads, but there was no catch glove. The GM 3000 catch glove became the Super Pro glove at that time. However, there are surprisingly quite a few normal style gloves, single pocket, that have the Legends LGDC model on them. Here's my thought. There was, and I haven't ever been able to find exactly, basically the pro leagues came up with a rule that said you couldn't use this. Probably in a square inch rule or something, or they came up with a rule regarding extra netting or mesh or lace or whatever. And I think it also didn't sell well because it was too crazy. So I don't think people wanted this glove, and dealers got stuck with inventory, which means the manufacturer got stuck with inventory. And I think towards the end of the second year that CanStar must have come out with a cuff replacement program to move inventory. Whether they were doing it at the factory or they maybe got to their dealers the ability to replace the cuff with this particular cuff here. And the reason I say that about this cuff is because while this one is a proper glove, black and white, I've come across multiple gloves that have the wrong color cuff. I actually have 2 of them. There's been other ones I didn't buy. So this one has red trim and a red logo. That should not be on this glove. And this one has blue and white on a white and black pocket. I really have this feeling that that was an attempt to be able to move the inventory and sell them under the current rules that had changed at the time. But there's no evidence of that. I've found no one from back in those days that has been able to confirm that concept with me. Either way, I have several of these. I also have the red, white, and black version of this that matches the blocker I showed at the beginning. This guy, which I have kind of taken apart right now because I cleaned it, and if I'm going to get the blocker refurbished, I'm going to refurbish this as well. So finally, the last piece is the upper body protection. Feature-wise, I can tell you there is a lace for the arms, so the arms do lace on. Neck protector collar is lace removable. They have fixed shoulder caps, which are these guys here, and then you've got the floaters. Pretty good belly protection, actually. And you do have the kidney, I guess this is, protection. It is a single strap across the back. I have replaced the straps on this. I also replaced the elastics here that hold the floaters in place. Replaced the sewn-on Velcro and elastic wrist straps. Replaced straps on the inner elbow protection. I did a lot of work on this one. I like it. I feel like, again, I have such a comfort level with my reactor chest protector that pretty much everything else I wear in this era just always seems to feel different to me. But I try to always wear match sets when I do. So if I wear my Legends, I wear either this chest protector or this chest protector. Spine protection is full padded spine protection, and it's adjustable for the rise of the floaters. You can wrap them a little further. It's not very heavy compared to my other ones. It's not like the reactor came out and was all of a sudden a pound lighter or anything. I think from my experience with like the different Vons, and they're all in really close weight range. Even like my brown chest protector from this era, they're all pretty much the same. So pretty much that's it about the Legends. I do want to point out, I made this jersey. I recreated the graphics from this piece right here. It's also used in their marketing. So I recreated that graphic in a heat transfer vinyl. I even put these little dashed lines to make them look like the thread from being sewn on. I don't make these for other people. The stuff I do like this is just for my own personal use. Hopefully these videos teach you a little bit something about gear from yesteryear. I'm going to probably keep moving backwards through time, so that would mean my next video would most likely be the GP 3000, so the 3000 model line. Thanks, and if you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, make sure you hit the little bell notifications. Feel free to share, comment, let me know what you want to see.